So the BRICS came in. The BRICS, their main fault was they're going to take it another 4 or 5 years to do it 2021, when the Chinese were going to be ready militarily to take on the United States. The problem with 2021 is many years after the Planet X.
Right.
Now that, as far as the controllers are concerned, that's 3 years beyond or 4 years beyond what they are allowed to do. They have to decide now. So they were let go. They were allowed by the Zionists to go and have a go at them. Now that's one issue. As far as the Vatican is concerned, who is claimed to be coming and clearing on my side? Who am I claiming to be coming and clearing the dust a year later? Our Lord Jesus, right? Jesus Christ coming in a year later to clear the dust in separation of the parties, if you remember that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is as with everything else, with all the prophets, every messenger who is sent, the messenger never ever goes and tries to negotiate or have a logical discussion with people to say they are in the wrong or in the right. The situation itself resolves itself to be in the right or in the wrong, and the messenger says, you've seen yourself wrong, be with the right now. So if there are any messengers coming, if there are any higher being coming, the higher beings will not need to say anything. On the ground, all their opponents or those who are on their side have proven their ground. So it will be on my side or be with the bad people. So that's why things will not be taking to the time when the good guys will be coming. By then, all internal issues have been resolved.
Okay, but first of all, you're saying there's something about a planetary hold on the ETs, you think, at this moment.
Right. There was a planetary hold on the ET by the ETs on this planet. Okay. This is. I have a presentation which.
Okay, sorry for this. A planetary hold. It's your language sometimes that's not clear. So
yes, I'll explain.
Okay. So we'll just have a cut here and then go ahead.
I have presented to you a presentation, 42 pages presentation.
Okay.
And that goes into the other part of our discussion we had the other time, which was astroplanetology. And this time it goes into the physics of every part of existence, including consciousness, including stuff like light, okay? And how planets work, how communication is done, why things happening in the way they are, what is timelines, what is consciousness, how timelines work, what's something called a mindset, what is consciousness zones, all that stuff. It's in there. In there is something to do with light. And in light, I'm saying, from the science itself, as part of physics, light is a tunnel. It's a wormhole, allowing things into it. So light itself is not a physical substance. It is just a connection, like a bypass. For the bypass to take place, you are able to send through light material. So if you bunch a lot of them together, that becomes a bigger wormhole, and you can physically walk in, come the other side.
Yeah, and we're talking about stargates.
Yes. So I'm talking about the planet, so how the Stargate technology works through the use of the holes, the wormholes that lights do as they travel between the source and the destination. Okay? Let's go back and talk about Alex Collier. In Alex Collier, he talked about the fact that if They asked him in the ranch, if we wanted to communicate with the Andromedan Council, how are we able to do that? Now he said, you send your intent into the sun with this image, and he gave the image. Do you remember that? It's part of these things I pick up as a physicist. Okay, how can you send an intent through the sun? Okay, so if the sun produces a lot of light, it means the sun is generating a lot of wormholes towards Earth. And if it produces a lot of wormholes going through the light, because of the sun's intensity, it means the other way it can also come back. So if I send something,
Sure.
I can send it through the light back. Okay? So I send my intention to the sun out into the cosmos. So that's your intention being sent into the sun. Okay. If you are saying a prayer, you send that intention through the prayer, yes? And you send it through the sun. If I wanted to block that outing of prayers, outing of intentions, outing of consciousness into the cosmos, saying, come and help me, I am trapped, please find a way to relieve me. Shouldn't I be me as the imprisoner? Shouldn't I go and cut the source of the light to stop the transmission mechanism? To stop the intention going back through the sun, through the light sun? I need to block the light, don't I? To stop me uttering the intent, going through the light into the sun.
Okay, I think, yes.
Yes.
I think what you're trying to say is, so if they want to stop this messages from the humanity out through the sun, they have to block it. And
Yes.
how are they going to block it?
They were blocking it through chemtrails.
Okay.
They were using all the aluminums, putting it in the atmosphere. While the aluminums were using it for HAARP, correct. The aluminums were using to poison the earth and the planet,
Yes.
correct. But also they were blocking the intentions going out.
Okay.
When they were blocking the intention, because what they were doing, they were ensuring that no light comes directly from the sun to us. It always gets reflected somewhere. Once it gets reflected, that then stops the direct transfer from us to the sun.
Okay.
So when they did that, they were in control. But when they started to have the fight in between them, a few months ago, even a year ago, that plan collapsed because the world government collapsed. So now there is an internal battle going on as to whether they should be spreading chemtrails or not. So many cases, chemtrail is not being spread.
Yeah.
Okay? What does that do? That gives you, as a planet level, the ability to have direct access to the sun with no light being blocked. Guess what? We have 7 billion people, and all of them now raise the intention. So that intention has gone out. The planet also is able to pick it up because the planet was suffering from its inability to feel its way through the systems, and they were using the chemtrails with all this aluminum to disrupt its electromagnetic, so it doesn't know which way it's supposed to go.
Okay.
So they were hindering the planet's consciousness, because it wasn't able to then communicate properly or go through the right timeline. Now they have the dog eat dog mentality, or the wolves are fighting between each other.
Yeah.
Now it's a good day. You can see that there is no chemtrail, but there will be sometimes. But that depends on whether they're having attacks against each other or not. But now, as a consistent methodology, you don't see chemtrails taken day in, day out. And that is causing all the change that's taking place. Because now our consciousness is physically working to support us again.
Okay.
So then everything is merging back together to what we want now as humanity. And now we are breaking the shackles that were placed against us on an ET level. Does that make sense?
Yes. And very good. And I would say that is true. And the revealing of the ancient sites, some of which have been hidden and are coming to the light now, is part of this. So your words are one way of explaining something that other people explain in other words. But I do, let's get back to this thing where ISIS is now destroying some of the ancient sites.
Yes.
Because what is the intention there? To hide the history, yes, we understand that. So that this certain, the Zionist side of the equation can supplant, or after Planet X comes and goes, put their rule in place. But there does seem to be a battle over the Stargates, number one, over the ancient sites. And so every time you have an ancient site in a certain country that also contains Stargates and so on, which is Syria, which is Iraq, you see, then you have a battle, a war going on the ground there in these places, and also in Turkey, as it happens next. But, so what do you have to say about that?
There are other reasons which are hidden.
All right.
And the reasons are not what people think. All the battling you're seeing is a facade. Okay. There are other things that is taking place. That has nothing to do with even the aliens.
Okay.
But I cannot talk about it because I only talk about things that are available in public. Okay, so having said that, I raise your curiosity. I know. It's all to do with money.
Okay.
And,
go ahead.
Okay, so how does it's all to do with wealth.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you regard a Stargate as wealth, or whether you regard physical metals as wealth, mm-hmm. maybe I'm just this is as far as I can go. Maybe the ancient sites were storage of wealth, that the old people now want to get access to it.
Sure.
What kind of wealth that is will be revealed later. Mm-hmm. Okay? You need to think in their mind, what is the concept of wealth? So a lot of what you're seeing is digging for wealth. Whatever is in those ancient sites.
Yes.
Some of them say technology because that's what they are interested in.
Sure, of course.
Others will say ET, access to ET, that's what they are interested in. Mm-hmm. Others will say they want to get rid of the history, that's what they're interested in. Mm-hmm. Each one of them are doing it for their own sake.
Right.
But they all come down to, at the end of the day, if there isn't money in it for them, they will not do it. So there is money in it for them. Mm-hmm. Some of these governments, like Turkey and America, US, and Israel, have clued into those wealth and they want to have access to it.
Sure.
Okay? One of the wealth that's taken place is if you have access to certain land, there are things which are under it which is very valuable to some other people.
Yes.
But they do not want to disclose it.
Yeah. I mean, we understand this also to do with China, because China has bought a lot of land in California and other places, and they want access actually to what's underneath it in the one hand, and also to put solar panels.
Yes.
Because they want the sun.
But that
they
is
want the energy.
No, the solar panels is like a wall that they want to see, mm-hmm. but under it there is something else.
Yes. But I mean, there's always a war for these various, you might say, material items and also on and off planet. I mean, this is also why the ETs come.
But why are they so interested in it? It means that there is something that if they hold to it, they're able to tip the balance to their side.
Sure.
Okay? I'll just leave the public, I cannot talk about that. But what I can
Okay.
talk about, why are they letting ISIS loose in the other areas other than those spaces? Is because when the Illuminati treaty collapsed, with them before trying to go through Russia, trying to go through Syria, and Russia not cooperating, with China backing it up. So the war stopped on the Third World War, right?
Right.
So now they're trying to say, okay, now we don't have coordinated attack that we can coordinate at the Committee of 300 level, because the Committee of 300 has collapsed. Now we need to take matters in our own hands to go and build a temple. Okay? So then they use ISIS to go in and says, okay, these governments are no longer in any way connected to us. They're connected to the Russians and the Chinese. So now we need to get rid of them. So they're using ISIS to get rid of them. Now, who are they duping? They are duping the Saudi Arabians to do it. Why are they duping the Saudi Arabians to do it? Because the Saudi Arabians, their oil is run out. Because their oil is run out, they have to go and get the other places. So they said, okay, use the funds. We will not give you back the funds that you have in our space, in our land, in our banks. But we can use it to try to support your government to take access to that. They said, fine, okay, I will send you the people. You use the funds that you have in your place. Go and clean up the land for me. Now, they would not have done this unless they have access to other countries who would have come in. Now, unfortunately, there are certain countries in the land who have signed with them. Now, those who have signed with them, the Zionists, are two main countries. Apart from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, two main countries have signed up with them. Turkey and Iran have signed up with them. So now they are cutting the piece together. They are chopping the pieces. That's why they stopped going against Iran. It's a big thing to say, as a Shiite going against a Shiite country. It's a big thing to say. But it is not the whole country. There are certain elements who are still given the forefront to take decisions unknown to the other parties within the country, the fact that they have their own agenda.
Right.
So they have the agenda. They have... Okay, let me give you a clue, a way of how you know which person is working for what. You just go into Davos, January, February, every year, get a list. Whoever is in that list works for them.
Works for the Zionist side.
Yes. Okay?
Yeah, whoever's invited.
Whoever is invited, because why are they invited? They get clued in as to what to do next,
Right.
and they are shown their bank accounts. So here's your money.
Uh-huh.
Meanwhile, here are the other parties which you are supposed to fight against or work with. Let us sit down together and have agreements. So by the time you come, all I do is give you the signal and you understand what I'm talking about. Okay?
Sure.
So whoever's private jets or government jets landed in Davos, these are the people who are working for the other side.
Okay. Now, given the playing field that you're describing and the incoming of Planet X with, you said this red dust, you still believe in this notion of the red dust that comes off Planet
Yes,
X?
in the last few months, especially April, May, and June, all around the UK, including London, quite a lot, some other places, there was a constant rain of dust on the cars everywhere. Every so many weeks I had to go and wash the car. And there were continuous cloud coverage.
Yes.
Nothing to do with chemtrail. And people were feeling that there was smog. There was no smog. These were not smog, because smog has a discoloration. And you can just wipe your hand on every surface area in at least London and surrounding area, you will see that they were covered in material, and you can see that there is dust blowing up. So what has happened was, as Planet X went before its return journey, the solar wind is pushing the dust now into the planet. So you see a large amount of cloud coverage even during summertime, when there shouldn't be normal summertime. It's because there's too much dust falling off from Planet X.